It's the Full Force News Burst Extra, brought to you by General Joe's Reborn.com, with me, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic80. On Tuesday the 27th of June, we were invited to participate in a Hasbro G.I. Joe brand team roundtable Q&A with other G.I. Joe related outlets. Emily and Lenny revealed some cool upcoming details, dropped some name-only reveals, and gave a lot of insight into many different aspects of the brand. It was broken up into two separate segments, which we have compiled for your viewing pleasure. Enjoy.
I'm Emily. Nice to meet you.
And I'm Lenny, design.
Oh,
G.I. Joe.
marketing. Yeah.
So maybe we go in that order of questions too?
That sounds perfect. All right.
Well, I just want to say congratulations for the fully funded, well, almost fully funded Dragonfly. I mean, we're
Thank you.
achieve it, and that's amazing. You guys did a great job. Biggest question that's floating around right now that in regards to that project is, when are we going to see the final unlock? Are we going to have to wait? Are we going to see it a little bit early?
So, great question. We're not quite ready to tell you what it is yet, but if we wanted to kick things off with a little bit of a bang, we do have a character name only reveal for you today, and then we can kind of talk through our thoughts and feelings about that.
Is it the one that I asked we
Yes,
can do?
but it's only the first half because we're doing 2 sessions, so we'll save one for the second half.
Okay.
And we'll do a recap.
Is it the one in
So
Emily, you say
it. So we are very, very excited to announce that Airborne is actually going to be in the G.I. Joe main line as a classified figure. So Airborne is not going to be locked behind the HasLab campaign. So he will be coming as part of our 2024 lineup.
Yeah, and he's coming out really good.
Yeah.
We actually just got some samples of him. We've been in production on him for a while now. So I can't wait to reveal him. I actually saw something on him today, and I'm like really excited to show him. He's a good fig.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid fig.
And so just to kind of explain how that logically worked for us. So we wanted to make sure that he felt like such an important character. We wanted to make sure that he wasn't necessarily locked behind a HasLab for his first outing.
Yeah.
Also, kind of the way that our development process works is he was in development in the main line way before the HasLab was concepted.
It's funny, action figures take way longer than a baby to be born. So our life cycle of a figure is probably about 15 months or so. And the kickoff to the HasLab, we've only been 20 days in the campaign. We haven't even, you guys, it's funny, HasLabs are weird. We develop
kind of a reverse development
It's a
process.
reverse. So we make a really pretty sculpt before we even start. So basically that's to see if everybody is interested in it. So Airborne, way along in production before the HasLab even got kicked off. So it just worked out that way.
Yeah.
So
and I think it means that the timing will be great because it means that you'll actually be able to have Airborne in your collection before you get before the Dragonfly will be delivered to your house, which is really cool. So he'll be sitting and waiting for his ride.
Yeah.
Which I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
So that is kind of our Airborne announcement. So kind of circumnavigating lead.
So
what was a word?
Give an answer to something else on that question. That's kind of, we can't really talk to the unlock just yet.
Yep.
I think we're closer to, if we unlock Glenda, closer to that number, we will give the
I'm very confident that we're gonna.
I am a
based on
cautious man.
So I know that there have been a lot of people that have been saying, like, are you concerned that the campaign is stalling X, Y, and Z? This is the name of the game for every HasLab campaign that there has been, with basically the exception of the Hiss tank. So the Hiss was really the exception to the rule. So you get a big spike at the beginning of the campaign, you get little spikes whenever you have more marketing beats, and then at the end FOMO kicks in, and we sold, I think it was 8,000 Sky Strikers in 12 hours. It was incredible. Wow. And I think about 6,000 Hiss tanks in 12 hours. I'm sure somebody on the internet will fact check me on that.
Yeah, and I think as it progresses, we'll show it at an appropriate time, essentially. Yeah.
Was that helpful?
I mean, it's better than no answer at all. That's for sure.
Love it. Okay, great.
If we're going to see it closer to Glenda, that's information. So thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So since we're on the topic of HasLab, I will go with my HasLab question first. I have some other stuff here we can talk about later. What are some of the key learnings that the team has found with back-to-back HasLab successes?
I think that
it's a lot.
there's a lot of things to unpack from. We've done 3 HasLabs in pretty rapid succession, and I think that we owe all of our HasLab success to both the incredibly dedicated development team here that has been working so hard on these projects, and to all of the amazing G.I. Joe fans that are backing and supporting these endeavors. And I think that is really something that motivates. It's like a circle, like a cat chasing its tail. So the design team is motivated by how excited they know that all the fans are going to be. And I think a lot of what motivates that for us is storytelling. And to us, so like, how can we continue to contribute to the story and the lore of G.I. Joe through establishing these HasLabs, and like, how does the characters that we're choosing and the way that we're developing the storylines around the campaign, like, how does that all kind of fit in with the overall G.I. Joe story? I think that's something that fans have been responding really well to.
And I think a lot of it is the upfront research that we're doing on the total package, I think. And I think with the Hiss tank, I think from the Sky Striker we learned a lot, and then we implemented a lot of that on the Hiss tank. And then from the Hiss tank, we learned some things with the unlocks and like what people responded to. We really pay attention to what people are responding to, because we want to make people happy. So we just kind of pay attention to what the parameters are that we're designing and marketing towards, and then what people are reacting to, and we try to aim for 100, right? So, and I think, as you can see, a lot of the unlocks are all figures. That was a learning. Right? Like the total package that you see out of the gate, like we tried to make it like a total vehicle out the gate. Like we're not hiding
everything
any,
that you needed.
no accessories behind unlocks. Thank you. I can't speak.
I got you.
So it's like kind of like figuring out how to like sweeten the deal and incentivize the deal. I think plays a lot into it, and a lot of, for development standpoint, it's a lot of the upfront development of what it takes, because a lot of stuff you guys are seeing, like the painted models, we don't do that until like 9 months into development.
Usually on a traditional product.
So we are like really far ahead. So we're learning how to truncate all that to show the community and the consumer a total finished product before we even start the product. So, and because we want to keep it as true as possible to what the final thing's going to be. So it's a lot of like, how do you show a really, really, really good breadboard or digital model, as well as how do you pay attention to what people are really going to get excited about, so that we do have a successful campaign. Because at the end of the day, it's what we're shooting for. We want these things to fun, and we want to get all the unlocks because they're super fun, because we want to make them. Like the fact that Ripcord got unlocked so quickly, I get to make all that flight gear. I'm so excited about it. So hopefully we'll get everything to you guys within the 15-month or 20-month cycle that we're on.
16 to 18.
16 to 18
for HasLabs. And then I think that it's also been really cool. Kind of our cadence is we do everything digitally, and then usually about 2 weeks before campaign kickoff, our gray model arrives. And so finally we get to really see what this thing looks like in real life, which means that for the Joe campaigns, we can't speak for necessarily the other campaigns, but it's really important to us that we launch with those full color digital renders, and we always caveat with it's this or something better, because we do need to make updates kind of as we go, but minimal updates. But so we have those full color digital renders, and then we have that physical gray model so that you can actually imagine how big it will be in your space and how impactful that is. Like that picture of Lenny, like looking at the dragonfly, it's enormous.
But at the same time, you don't want to make it so wide where it won't fit on a shelf. So part of the learning there too is like, we got to pick an item that is going to fit in most people's displays, or
like on the top of a bookshelf.
Fit on top of a bookshelf. It's thin enough where it'll kind of fit on a bookshelf. Or maybe we'll, like, say if we did a bigger vehicle, like a wider one, we would try to design something in there where it would fit on most shelves, or in a way fit on the shelf through the stand or something like that. So a lot of stuff has to be considered very early with HasLabs, because normally I'm going on a little bit of tangent. Stop me if I'm going too far.
Who never goes on tangents? So weird.
Like the gray model, a lot of times for a regular vehicle on any toy line, we see a gray model, and then we make adjustments to that, and then we go back to the CAD, and then we adjust that, and we make sure that everything is right. With HasLabs, because of truncated schedule and we need to get it to people, we're doing it on the fly and while people are watching us. So
the stakes are high. They're wonderful, and they kind of thrive under the pressure.
Yeah.
Which is, you know,
You can say
you
that.
make diamonds. Yeah,
I'd say
which is
you
lovely.
can say that.
Yeah, I will say that. And the reason why Lenny was looking sideways is if somebody could let us know when we have 5 minutes left of this session, we actually have we'll give everybody on this call and then on the next call an early look at our painted model that just came in. It has been off in the photo studio, so we will have some really, really
There's
beautiful
dust on it,
diorama
actually.
pictures. So there's a lot of sand on it. It was in a sand pit.
I'm not happy.
So just keep that in mind when you're seeing it. But the
Yeah.
pictures that will come out
Yeah,
will be
we'll try to
gorgeous.
truncate our answers a little bit so
Yep.
we can get to that stuff too.
Yep.
So
All right.
anyways.
Okay. Thank you, James.
That was
So
a great answer.
Great.
Sweet. Good.
Glad it was recorded because that would have been a lot of typing.
A lot to type. Yeah. We have that impact on.
Yeah, we can go on.
All right. Dave, what's your first question?
Hey, so just going to a different kind of set of pre-orders. The Cobra Eel pre-orders sold through pretty quickly. Are there going to be more made available?
So basically the way that pre-orders kind of work is there is a limited quantity of the entire kind of batch of items that are made that are released for pre-order. So when we actually get to shipping on those, more of those quantities should be released on them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I got freaked out too.
Yeah, no, because I think, and we had been the whole time, we were like, these are gonna be really popular.
Mhm.
And so yes, there should be some, and that kind of goes for all pre-orders with the exception of convention exclusives is traditionally how that works. So you get your initial pre-orders in, and then there's usually at least some quantities that are released afterwards.
Sweet.
If that's helpful. That seems like the kind of answer that we want, right?
Yeah, totally. Thank you.
You're welcome. Excellent. Okay, Andrew, first question, please and thank you.
Yeah, so when it comes to like supersizing a pretty iconic 80s toy, particularly from a property like G.I. Joe that was known for its toy line and its animated series, how much inspiration do you draw from like the original Dragonfly toy, and how much inspiration is drawn from how it appears across various episodes of the animated series, which would always kind of, bring in new features or new functionality you wouldn't see in the toy in the 80s. So I'm just curious what the balance is there when you're designing and kind of modernizing a toy like this.
So it's interesting on classified. We are going for our own look comparatively to the 80s line, but we are, as you guys can tell, we're pulling a lot from the 80s line because
fully inspired.
I mean, Real American Hero, come on. Yeah. But we actually pulled my Dragonfly toy, and we looked at the proportions, and we looked at the gait of the skis on the bottom, or the skiffs on the bottom, looked at the angle that it like kind of like the angle of its aggression, essentially, of how like the line or the silhouette is. So we really focus on the silhouette. And then with the Dragonfly in particular, at first we were going to try to keep it more angular, like the original toy, where it's like it's very like cut. You can tell the designer back in the day cut it out of foam, maybe kit bashed together old toys and stuff like that. So we try to stay in the realm of the spirit of what the original toy was. And a lot of classified is pulled from Real American Hero toy line. So we look at the toy first, then we update the toy, not the cartoon. And then, so with the Dragonfly, we did some drawings, did some quick sketches, and we even went to be a little more smooth, so look a little more modern, but it actually was looking too sci-fi. So then we kind of met in the middle, essentially, and we looked at real assault helicopters and how they are designed and how their pop rivets are put in. So what we're trying to do from a toy standpoint is keep the silhouette and keep the vibe, but from what classified brings in is that bit of realism and detail that we couldn't mold in the 80s. So what we're doing is we're adding that realism, we're adding the detailing, we're adding the pop rivets, we're adding the scribe lines that we couldn't get before. So I don't think there's really a percentage. It's more of like a vibe. And as you guys can see with some of the images with some of the color on it, how Mark added all this really cool blackout paint for glare, because some helicopters have that on there, and some military vehicles have the blackout on the roof, so there's no glare. So we added a lot of details like that because we do want to put the classified spin on it that pushes it into the little bit more extreme feel than what the Real American Hero line had. And there were some extreme looking Real American Hero vehicles and figures, but in classified we have a particular aggression to the look. We wanted to get it there, but at the same time it needs to feel like the classic Dragonfly, kind of like we did the Hiss tank. The Hiss tank, we elongated the nose, We made the angle a little more aggressive. The treads are a little longer. There, as you guys remember, the old His tank was a little more boxy. We're trying to make it, for lack of a better word, more sexy in its feel. So,
and I feel like that's kind of the approach that's really taken with everything in classified series. You know, we have the retro version, and then all the way on the other end you have like a really super futuristic sci-fi version, and I feel like everything that we have found that fans have really loved is somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah, which I think it's funny, in meetings we've been doing our like, what's next, what's the future, and our future planning for the line. And it's like, one of the things we try to look at is if we are a production, a design house doing it for a movie, like what would we do? Like how would we realize it? Like a production designer essentially. And it's super fun to do with the toy know-how that Hasbro's had, especially on action figures for the past 40, 60 years. So yeah, I think that
that was a good rambling answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All right, Fran, second question, please, and thank you.
The very important one, because I know it's the classified piece that I've been waiting for the most. So is there an update when will actually be shipped our His tanks? When are we going to get those in hand?
Should be still fall. So we're on track.
I think beginning fall. Right?
Yeah, early fall, I would say, depending on how you define fall.
Yeah.
So
something
October-ish, November-ish.
Yeah, we're still on time.
Yep.
I don't want to say a month, but it's early fall.
Yeah.
As you guys saw, I put on Instagram, I showed what Cobra Commander looks like.
Yep.
Our figures they're in a good spot.
Yeah.
So, but a little inside baseball, when you make a HasLab, you're making a wave of figures in a very complicated vehicle. So they're on the same timeline, but it's like, for the most part, it's like doing a very complicated wave, right? Because you have you have the vehicle that's complicated. So and all these everything has to pass QC, everything has to pass QA, everything has to function well, everything has to be operational. Like if there's a defect in the figure, it will delay the rest of the item.
Everything.
So again, we can say early fall, but the figures are coming out really good. So we're in a good spot on there. And the tank's looking really good from what I've seen so far. So we're on track.
And I think that it's really important to us that it is, as with learnings from the Sky Striker, we have really taken a lot of leaps and bounds forward to make sure that what you get is the best possible product that you can.
Cross the I's and dot the T's.
Exactly. we know that there were
friends.
I'd rather wait and have it perfect than have it, get it 3-4 weeks, 2 months ahead of time and it not be perfect. So
exactly.
And it's kind of our stance on HasLabs too.
We're just all excited to get that in hand. That's an important piece.
Yeah, me too. I keep on telling my mom it's going to be the centerpiece at Christmas.
So I wonder if I could do. Oh yeah, that'd be really nice. I like that idea.
Right in front of the antipasto.
Yep.
Put some flowers in the turn.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Love it. Fabulous. Thanks, Fran. All right, James, you're up.
All right, I'm going to go with the more business end of things now and ask, do you have any updates to how G.I. Joe is being handled at retail, specifically kind of the split between the mass retail and the specialty market, and what the outlook is for growing that in 2024?
Ooh, good question. So I feel like we have gotten positive feedback from all of our retail partners about the success of classified series, which is really, really complimentary for us because it is, a 6-inch action figure line among many of the 6-inch action figure lines that exist in the world. And there isn't really like current entertainment that it's supporting.
Yes,
so it kind of exists from our imaginations, which is beautiful and really exciting. And there's something that it's tapping into, I think, whether for you it is the characters, whether it's the detail of the figures, whether it's all the stuff that they come with for the world building, there is something that is connecting with fans that we are truly, truly humbled by.
Yeah. Yes.
And that it's also connecting with retailers, which is lovely and flattering, and we are delighted by. I think that and this is going to sound a little conceited to say out loud, but everybody wants more classified. And so we're trying to figure out how we can satisfy all of the retail needs while making sure that we're fulfilling everything that consumers need, while making sure that we don't flood the market and there's you're not going to get hit with 60 pre-orders that are all shipping to you at once.
Which would be brutal.
Which would be terrible. And so we're kind of coming up on the tail end of, remember all of the supply chain issues and we didn't have new product on shelf for 6 months? Ah, good times. That was fun.
That was very stressful.
So essentially what we kind of ended up doing with that is all of the product that was supposed to be on shelf for spring of 2023 shifted to fall of 2023. Everything that was supposed to be fall 23 product shifted to spring of 24. And then everything that was supposed to be spring 24 and everything for fall 24 moved to fall 24. So there is going to be quite a bit of product that hits shelves in fall of 24, but we really wanted to make sure that, you know, we weren't shortchanging any of our fans on those items because we do really believe in all those figures. We didn't want any of them to be cut. So there will be some more coming out. I think that we're just trying to figure out, you know, what makes the most sense from a cadence perspective and trying to spread out our pre-orders a little bit more. There's so basically the way that things work, if you have products that are shelf setting at like one of the big box retailers, let's say, there are 4 times a year that you really have to hit for products to set on shelf. And so I'm sure people have noticed that there are those 4 times a year when they do toy shelf resets, and then a lot of your pre-orders may ship during those time periods. So we're trying to figure out, you know, if for those cadences, what does it mean for us if we have, you know, 10 items that are shipping out at each one of those deadlines? Like what kind of like consumer experience is that? That was a little bit of a roundabout answer, but did you find that acceptable?
Yes, you can tell when I switch between the Toy Book hat and the Pop Insider hat. So all good.
That was a very businessy question. Thank you. Good business. All right, Dave, you're up.
Question about accessories. So we had heard that accessories packs are on the table from previous roundtables. Are we any closer to seeing those become a reality?
Not yet.
Not
I
yet.
don't think.
Not yet.
We're trying to figure out what comes next in world building for classified series.
Yeah, and to my answer earlier, like we're in our figuring out 25 and beyond. So Iron Grandeur. Dude, Iron Grandeur. I love that. Yes.
Why is nobody voting for ice cream soldiers? We all need ice cream soldiers.
I saw that in some comments on. It was like.
Was it just me commenting on it?
No, it was somebody else. But we are looking at to see how to expand the line. So within the next couple of years, you may see it. We can't speak to future product because and all that. But we are thinking about how else we can expand the universe of. And as a kid, I always thought weapons packs and on all sorts of lines was really cool.
Yeah.
Super 7 is doing that really cool weapons pack too.
Yep.
So I think there's potential. We just got to see how we would offer. We always want to make something feel like a full offering. So stay tuned, I think is the answer, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think that there's so many cool things that we can do with world building, and that is part of the joy of G.I. Joe, is that there are so few toys that when you think about them, sometimes you think about the play sets and the vehicles first before you think of the individual figures.
Yeah, well, G.I. Joe is figure, weapons, vehicles, and then play sets. Like it was designed to be a toy. It's the greatest toy line ever, if you ask me.
He's unbiased.
And I'm not talking about classified. I'm just talking about like G.I. Joe in general. It's designed to be for toys, right?
Almost 60 years of history of designed for
fully
toys.
Encompassing. So I think weapons pack is definitely something on the table. It's just, we're planning for the future and stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Woo-hoo. All right, Andrew, you're up.
So this is almost an extension of your last answer, but looking at the past few years of HasLab projects and seeing what has succeeded and what has failed, I mean, G.I. Joe projects have a pretty great track record so far. Why do you think that is? Why do you think G.I. Joe and the toys still resonate so many years later and are still so popular among collectors?
I think there's the first thing that comes to mind is like for that last answer is G.I. Joe is a fully encompassing world. Like there's iconic vehicles that are literally vehicles of characters, if you ask me. The characters all serve an archetype, and those archetypes are timeless. Whether you're a rifleman or you're like a sci-fi wielding android, right?
Yeah.
Sci-fi wielding android, but you know what I mean.
You get it, yeah.
Or like a Flash Gordon looking villain with like a helmet on, and you happen to have an arms dealer that's kind of royal. Like all of the characters fit an archetype, and if you look at modern video games, a lot of those archetypes, like two ninjas not getting along and stuff like that. They are tropes, and I think G.I. Joe pioneered a lot of those tropes, and they're beautiful because they're tropey. And I think that's what is helping G.I. Joe a lot, is that like it kind of resonates no matter what generation of Joe you grew up with. Like my father-in-law was the 12-inch Joe, and he's always like, you got to remake this. And it's like, it's like, yes, we do. Yeah. But like, and then, but you then talk to my brother, and my brother's like, you got to remake this character. And it's like, there's a different, it's hit on all these different levels.
Or
but
like
I think
if you were a 90s kid or a 2000s kid.
And they always had they always kept archetypal. And I think that's what makes them strong. And even in the vehicles, like a jet is awesome, no matter what jet it is, or a tank, or like some sort of submarine, or an amphibious vehicle. Things like that are rad. So I think that's what it is at the end of the day.
I think we also have the advantage of, this is a new toy line. You haven't been able to get G.I. Joe in 6-inch figures before. This line is less than 5 years old. And so I do want to give a shout out to everybody at the company that has worked on HasLabs, whether or not their campaigns have succeeded, because they are an incredible amount of work goes into these, and they are kind of all consuming for our lives in the lead up to, in the campaign, in the fulfillment of, for the development. And so I think that it's an incredible accomplishment, but that we do have, there is that element of newness where one of our advantages is that we didn't burn through, isn't the right way to phrase it, but the line hadn't been large enough to get to some of these outside of a HasLab format. So like, this is new and it's novel. And it's something that you've never seen before for G.I. Joe.
I also think they complete the collection.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
it's storytelling.
If you're going to have a military sci-fi toy line, you kind of need your tanks and your jets, and your helicopters to kind of set the mood, especially for setting the mood on your shelf. Like, I like to set the mood on my collection shelves, but like, I like to make sure that it feels like the vibe, because you're going for that vibe in your collection room or wherever you keep your collectibles. So I think they're almost like centerpieces.
Yeah.
In a weird way. And that's how we kind of handle them too. So I think that helps out a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
So the Dreadnoks have been listed as name-only reveal for some time now. I was hoping that we were going to see them in Yojoe June. Is that still a possibility? We're going to see renders for those figures?
So we actually didn't do any other render reveals for Yojoe June, but stay tuned, because we will be doing some render reveals at San Diego Comic-Con. So the G.I. Joe panel will return to San Diego Comic-Con this year. We will be doing more name-only reveals, digital reveals, and we will be launching a couple of non-convention exclusive pre-orders.
Sweet.
And then there will be more in the lead up to San Diego Comic-Con, just in case you're like, wow, there have been a lot of classified figures this month. Great news. More coming in July. So just in case you were like, gosh, I missed them already.
We have more to show.
That's awesome. There's more that are launching tomorrow. So,
that's right.
Yeah. So we have, so we're wrapping up Yojoe June tomorrow. So we have more figures that are launching. Special guest for our show for tomorrow. Yep. So that should be fun too.
Yeah.
Right?
Emily has to pull me out of my day-to-day to like present the product. So I forget when
when things go live.
Because I'm in it, you know?
That's why he keeps me around. Keep us on track. Remember all the dates, remember where the pre-orders are launching.
Yeah, that's why she says the pre-order dates and all that.
I will talk about that once.
No, I'll crumble. I'll just talk about the toy.
We did a D&D one once, and Kevin, who was on it, I was like, so Kevin, what time does the pre-order launch? And he's like, 1:30. I'm like, oh, so close. We were live and we couldn't cut it.
Oh no.
It was great. I loved it.
You should do it from always.
So yes.
But soon. We will show show them soon. And I'm excited to show them because we're really far along on them too.
Yeah.
So they're pretty crazy looking.
Yeah.
So.
That's
and
great.
I think that we're really excited for San Diego this year, and more to kind of come on what the Hasbro activation will be on that. But I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Sweet.
Looking forward to it.
Cool. All right, James, you're up.
Looking ahead a couple months here, there's some stuff swirling with the 100 years of Hasbro. Anything G.I. Joe intersecting with that?
Solid question. Wait until San Diego Comic-Con to learn more about the Hasbro 100 celebration.
All right.
It's an answer. It's not the answer you wanted, but it is an answer.
There's something about it in the October issue of the toy book, but
Oh, okay. Excellent. That's good to know too.
So, question about the O-ring figures. There's been no news whatsoever on the O-ring. There's been no news on the O-ring line since the successful Sky Striker HasLab and then the Sunbow pack. Is it safe to say that the 3 3/4 figures are at rest for now?
Yes. So let's say that they are at rest for now. There are new O-ring figures. So
they're at rest for now.
They're at rest for now.
But that's not a hard answer to give.
It's a hard answer to give. So there were a lot of things that ended up kind of happening behind the scenes that prevented us from moving forward with our O-ring products for 2023. So at the time that we announced that they were coming back in full force, that was truly what we were on our way to accomplishing. We had figures, they were in development. We were thrilled about what the relaunch was going to be, but unfortunately there were just some things that were happening that
we had to rework our strategy.
Yes, we had to rework our strategy. So hopefully we'll be able to give more updates on that in the future. But for now, that line is at rest.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Andrew, you're up.
I think if you were to poll kind of kids who grew up with G.I. Joe and said, what one vehicle would you like to see come to HasLab? Obviously, the obvious answer is going to be a logistically impossible 6-inch scale USS flag. But from the old 80s.
Yep. Is it 80?
Pardon me?
It would be 80 feet if it was 1/12 scale.
That's practical.
If you're making a real aircraft carrier, if you're making a flag, it wouldn't be 80 feet long. It'd be like 25. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sure. No, I would still make room for both. But is there are there vehicles from the original 80s line that kind of like at the top of your list I would love to see get the classified series treatment one day?
Can I say things that I want to do?
Yes. So the caveat to this list is it is Lenny's favorite things. It is no way, shape, or form indicative of future products that will be coming out in the line. It's just things that Lenny is excited about.
I don't think it's possible. I said just bang right into it. I would want to
do Defiant.
I would want to do Defiant would be bigger than I would want to do Rolling Thunder would be sick, but I think it'd be too big. A Mamba, actually, I'd love to do a Mamba. They'd be pretty rad. It'd be weird.
What was that submarine that had the like fizzy stuff that would go up and down? Oh,
that's small. That's submarine would probably be like this. I forget the Barracuda. I love the Barracuda as a kid.
It would probably end up being
like,
never mind. That one's feasible. Sorry.
The whale. The whale I think would be awesome, and I'd love to try to figure out to make like a rubber tube on the bottom of it to be the for the hydroplaning that it used to do. Or even like I always get the name wrong of it, but it's like the battle station that's in the water. I always forget the name of it.
Somebody on the internet will tell us about it.
Yeah, they'll tell me how wrong I am and how, but it's like the battle station would be cool. The bivouacs, but I don't think the bivouac and the guard station actually have to be a HasLab. I think they're in a good size. Trying to think of like
modularly.
The one that I would love to make a Tomahawk. We talked about, I'll say this, we talked about the Tomahawk before we talked about the Dragonfly. The Tomahawk, think about how big the Tomahawk is compared to the Dragonfly. And then when you see the Dragonfly, it's like, the Tomahawk would be a
beast.
It carries, like, I think it carried 10 figures. I have one at home.
A lot.
I think it carried, because it had the seating in the back, and then it carried 2 pilots. It's so good. Tomahawk with the camo, and we figured, sorry. I get a little excited. But I think those are the ones I'd want to, like, reach for. I think the Mamba would be crazy looking, and I think it'd be remiss to not say the Rattler. I think the Rattler would be Wild Eagle. Come on,
or like a Night Raven in 6-inch scale. That would be big.
Night Raven,
like roughly the same size as the Sky Striker, which would be like 4 feet long.
I don't know. I think we can get it for a good size. I've looked at something and trying to like scale it out. Maybe that's something where we pull the scale down a little bit so that we could get it there. That was one of the Christmas presents that was we still believe in Santa Claus, but my dad that year was like, he's very Brooklyn Italian guy, right? Talk like this. He goes, Patty, here's my mom's name. Give him give him the G.I. Joe item. And he came out and he gave my brother and I the Night Raven. My brain melted. It's my favorite jet in G.I. Joe. I'd love to do Night Raven. But
and I think that
I'm getting a little too personal. But I
I
think
think
those kind of items, as I just listed off
Yeah.
a list of 10 things, but
and I think that there's also conversations to be had, around kind of that scaling down of what's more important, making sure that we are as accurate as humanly possible to the 3 3/4 inch product, which if scaled up means it would be unfeasible to do at 6 inch
Yeah.
scale. Or do we do a new 6 inch scale version that is slightly smaller, but actually means that you might be able to bring some of those products to life?
yeah, and I don't know how much chatter it would make if we even posed a question, maybe in the articles, maybe there'll be comments, but like, what if we made a new vehicle? Like, what if it was a new vehicle that was very G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
Would the fans be receptive to that? And would love to figure out how to get like data on that. Like, how do we see if like, hey, what if we made a brand new type of tank or type of jet that
Yeah.
like fits within the classified scale? Would people be receptive of that too? Because it'd be super fun to like just get into the weeds of
design
something new.
something.
Yeah, there's another question I was going to have. Is there an idea to, because this classified series is kind of not necessarily a complete duplication of the 80s series, but is there any idea in terms of bringing a new IP vehicle into the fold?
We'd love to. I mean,
Yeah.
when we first, so before Classified came out, myself and another designer, we were ideating what G.I. Joe could look like. So some of we were coming up with some crazy vehicles. We were going everywhere from classic G.I. Joe to a little more zany G.I. Joe. And we were looking at like one of the vehicles we looked at was reinventing the Rhino and what we could do with that, but we really pushed it far. We came up with vehicles that were like have helicopters detaching from them, getting a little more,
That's cool.
yeah, getting a little more 90s with it. So yeah, we did a lot of ideation. We even got like, I think we did like a rock and roll, like a surf van kind of thing too. But then it opened up, instead of it being surfboards, it's like machine guns come out. So we were looking at stuff like that. A little too zany at the end of the day. But yeah, we'd love to bring new stuff to the line. The Coil is a new vehicle. So Baroness's Coil, which is like this kind of like Rhino version of a motorcycle. Or not a Rhino, but like it's supposed to be like a heavy motorcycle that can like break through walls and stuff. So yeah, we definitely want to. It's just a matter of feeling out what do people want. You know what I mean? We got to weigh that, like when to give something new, when to give something that's based in history kind of deal. So
that Baroness and Coil pack was the first G.I. Joe classified figure that I picked up before I started working on the line.
Oh, sweet.
And the snake that she comes with that fits on her arm brings me great joy still.
I had this vision that she was like this sorceress and she had this like robot snake that she could command and to shoot lasers out of.
It's even better.
Instead of acid, instead of shooting poison, it was shooting lasers because I don't know, it had this like intent, I don't know, sci-fi craziness to it. Sorry. Now we're rambling. I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have 6 more minutes if we want to do a last speed round and see where we end up before
we're quick about the answers.
Yep, we'll be quick about the answers. We'll be decisive and definitive. All right, Fran, go. Lightning round.
This is going to be a hard question, but the AAA G.I. Joe video game, is there any information that will be available coming out for that? Because I think that is going to have a huge, gigantic impact on the marketing for G.I. Joe and getting it out to new people. I think it's huge potential. So it's just, there's so little information out there. It hasn't been really available. So
what can we say?
We agree. We can't say anything. Stay tuned for more details soon, because technically that falls under a different team than us.
Yeah.
So we are specifically the toy team, and then there is a franchise team that's specifically working on that. So we don't want to step on anybody's toes by saying anything we shouldn't.
So let's zip around Fran, try to think of another question that we can answer. We'll zip around for some more so we can get more questions answered for you guys, but we can't answer that one. But we agree. It will be sick.
It's
Buzzed about thing this month. G.I. Joe teased in Transformers, as evident by the new film coming out. We've seen the 3 3/4 collabs, 6-inch. Something happening there?
great news. We also can't comment on that, but we're excited about what may or may not happen in the future. We have seen the movie.
We'd love to do something, but we can't speak to the future products.
Yeah.
These are not the answers to give.
No, these are not. I'm so sorry.
No, these are the perfect speed round questions for the end.
Yeah.
Throwaway.
Dave, what's up? What do you got?
All right, give us one more that we can say we can't answer about.
don't know if they'll fit in like that, but like the Sergeant Slaughter release from last year, is there any opportunity in the future for figures to come packed with more alternate hands like fists or saluting hands?
Yes.
Yes. Great news. That was an easy one.
I'm on it.
Stay tuned for the future.
Getting yelled at
All
costume,
right.
but yes.
Yeah. Great. That was
Awesome.
an easy one. All right.
Awesome,
Andrew,
but thank you.
Speed round.
Andrew's tapped out. I'm happy to pass to someone else.
Hot dog. Who has another speed round? Fran, you want to try again?
I don't really have much. You guys went over so many things. I'm quite honest with you.
We were comprehensive.
We were comprehensive.
Anybody else? We still have like 2 more questions or 2 more minutes. We sped
Oh,
through those
you're
real
supposed
fast.
to show them.
Oh yeah, no, I scheduled that into the time block, so it's 3 more minutes.
Okay.
No, we don't swear on this. This is wholesome
Then
family
Can't
entertainment.
they bleep it with like a cobra?
I mean, they would.
I've been
but
asking them to do that. Anyway, sorry, Fran, you were saying.
Nunchuck figure that's been out there. It's been floating around that we're going to get nunchuck. Is that something you guys can speak on?
We cannot comment on future figure releases, but if I were you, I'd sure hang out and figure out what pre-orders are launching tomorrow.
Okay.
So with plastic packaging making its return, will we continue to see the retro carded releases at Walmart or other retailers?
Great news. We can't really comment on upcoming figure releases, but
You really like that line.
we really like that line, and we think that it's really important that it's perhaps available to more people, and that we continue to kind of push the characters that are included perhaps in a line like that, if maybe that was something we wanted to keep doing in the future.
Yes.
How's that?
All right, thank you. That
Nice.
works.
James, you got one last one before we grab our baby?
The old exclusives, the Serpentor and the Dr. Mindbender, are those going to become available again, or are they just going to forever be sold out?
They were Comic-Con and PulseCon exclusive, so they were single runs, so we actually can't rerun those items. So that was it for them, which we're glad that so many people liked them.
Yeah.
It was, we did, I believe by the end, because we...
Can you say a number?
No, we can't say a number, but we ended up doing 4 times more of each of, so we did the same number for both Mindbender and Serpentor, because we assumed people would want both of them, and it was 4 times as many as we did for Zartan the year before for PulseCon.
Yeah, and I would actually throw the question out there. So items like that, especially like Dr. Mindbender, characters that have been in mainline and all that, and this is not like we will do it, but it'd be interesting to get feedback to be like, would you guys want to see those in other iterations, colorways, different offerings, things like that?
It wouldn't necessarily come with the same packaging.
Yeah, it wouldn't be what they were. We would definitely
yeah.
offer it in a new refresh, essentially. So it'd be great to see if the fans want to see that stuff refreshed in a different way. Same molds.
Absolutely. Put out Mindbender with the Cobra symbol on the cape. That's enough change up there alone.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. All right.
Show them the dragonfly.
Yeah. All right.
It's a little dusty because our photographer gets silly with it.
He wait until you see the pictures though. They are absolutely gorgeous. I think that you're really gonna like them.
You guys see?
Here, I'll hold them up.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
The button. I don't know if you guys can see the button so well on the videos, but that's the button that activates all the lights. I think you can kind of see them in there.
Yep.
The gels are not final. They're going to be separate of each other. He'll have a gunner gel. We call them gels because it's it illuminates and makes the graphic in there. I think it's like a term for like video editing. But anyway, so the screens on both will be different. You guys saw most of the HasLab video. We're showing you how they work.
Oh, and here's a very early look at one of
the actually, I'm gonna hold this open.
Steel Core Troop Builders. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they know about these.
No, they haven't seen the actual figures yet.
Well, you get the guys see that. You guys can see the Steel Core figures
there you go.
And Wild Bill in there. Can you guys see it? I don't want to bust the model. We got to be careful with this. But
so just to clarify, the Troop Builder that's in the front seat is part of the Steel Core pack that's going to be coming out soon.
Yeah. And then if you want to turn back towards me, you guys can see inside the flip down, inside the gunner stations, like the machine guns are in there as well. The rounds, deco's looking really cool. Still making, it'll probably get touched up again before we show it to the public, just because.
It'll certainly get dusted.
Yeah, our photographer, the scene you're going to see it in when we do reveal.
It's beautiful.
Is like can I tell them what kind of scene?
Yeah.
It's a desert scene. So there's a lot of dust on the model right now because there's a lot of dust flowing around. he was using the compressed air to make explosions and stuff like that. Matt, we have 3 Matts on the team. So Matt C had a blast doing it, and it shows. But the items coming out
that he doesn't enjoy photographing all of our items.
I wonder
he's been stuck on G.I. Joe photography for like a month at this point. He's having a great time.
So if you guys can see this little pop riveting we were talking about, like a lot of aviation where it's like thousands of pop rivets all over the thing. So let me know if you're getting dizzy if I'm moving this around too much.
But we're pretty excited about it. So photos should be out sometime in the next week and a half or so, as soon as they come back from being edited. But they're beautiful. We're thrilled.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's also like, it's enormous.
I'm going to take it.
Yes. All right. So that was your sneak peek. I hope that you felt like this was worthwhile. And does anybody have any follow-up questions after they've seen our friend?
It doesn't have a mechanism like on the side like the old one to spin the propellers, right?
It does. So there's a mechanism. It's a secondary part that goes on the bottom of the wing on the side. It's a winch, so you can put the winch onto figures. And something else that maybe you guys can add in the description of it is with the Glenda figure, we're including a harness that'll fit male and female figures.
Yep.
So that harness gets connected to the winch that comes from the helicopter, so you could suspend figures up and down from it, and it should be able to winch them up and down. So pretty cool.
Awesome. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us. It was lovely to see you all, and we really, really appreciate you taking the time to hang out.
Thank you for your time. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Have a great afternoon. Bye, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of our G.I. Joe Roundtable experience today. So we broke up the sessions just because we know in the past they've gotten a little unwieldy. We wanted to make sure that everybody had enough time to answer questions and get their questions answered.
Hi, I am Chris McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80 from the Full Force podcast, and I have many questions for you amazing people. Obviously, congratulations, I should start off by saying, on successfully funding another phenomenal HasLab campaign. I mean, just out of this world. Congratulations on that. Now, it really is a beautiful vehicle and something I've personally wanted to see since the classified line started, way back since that day that we met, Lenny.
Yeah.
And ever since, I've just held a candle for it. I'm kidding. Anyway, we've unlocked Night Force Ripcord. We've seen Glenda as the tier 2 reveal. Awesome, by the way. Thank you so much for doing another international. I do appreciate the international.
Trying to sneak those in where we can.
Great, superb additions in my opinion on that one. With though the kind of it's slowed down a little bit in terms of in terms of the orders and everything, which is effectively what happened with the HISS tank as well. So it's what happens to these things. I mean, lots of people have already jumped on board. Now, are you guys likely to reveal the 3rd tier before Glenda is unlocked, or are you guys going to wait until that eventuality?
So for the time being, we're waiting until either Glenda gets unlocked or we get closer to her being unlocked. We're not concerned about the pace of the campaign right now. This is what happens with every HasLab that is shown. And so it's, you have the big spike at the very beginning, you have little spikes for each of the next marketing beats, and then that big FOMO spike at the end. We mentioned that we did, I think it was 8,000 Sky Strikers in the last 12 hours. We had like 6,000 HISS tanks in the last 12 hours. And so like we're
nerve-wracking at all.
No, we're not. Hey, this one funded in 26 hours and 23 minutes, which is great.
Very flattering.
So we really like solidly beat the Sky Strikers record of 44 days and 14 hours, which is not how you want your
we weren't nervous at all.
No, not nervous at all. And so I think that we're really excited. We have no concerns that we're going to get Glenda unlocked, that we're going to get our mystery 3rd tier unlocked.
Which I must mention, I think it's something that goes unnoticed with Glenda. She's coming with a harness that'll fit most figures.
Yeah,
and
it's adjustable.
That connects to the cable that you can suspend figures from the Dragonfly. So goes unseen, but it's really cool.
Do you want to show off the model really fast
You want to do that first?
Yeah, because
did we answer Chris's question?
I think we like kind of answered Chris's
Chris,
question.
did we answer your question?
Sure, whatever. I was actually going to say, I just noticed His Tank posted something from the first round saying that Airborne's not going to be the third tier reveal. Is it work? I'd like to get it on record, obviously, so that I've got some for recording purposes.
So the idea was that for each of these sessions, we would give you a different character name reveal. So Airborne is officially coming in the main line. He is not going to be the third tier reveal for the HasLab. Okay. We basically didn't want to lock him behind a HasLab. Yeah.
Also, and then, from a production standpoint, we started him before the HasLab.
We did.
So he's closer to finished.
From a practicality standpoint. So he will actually be arriving in mainline before the Dragonfly ships. So he will get to wait for his ride at home.
Brilliant.
While we're on the theme of kind of things that are to come, so your figure name reveal is we are actually doing an additional His Tank Troop Builder multi-pack. So this will be an item that is not locked to His Tank backers. This will be an exclusive item on Hasbro Pulse that is open to everybody, and it is a 3-pack of all new troop builders to complement your His Tank.
788 Fire Team.
Yes, the 788 Fire Team. And so
much information there. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So all new. We are so excited. So stay tuned for more info on that. But so now each of you get one HasLab themed reveal for your character names. Congratulations.
Yeah. And I think in the spirit of us trying to be succinct with our answers, Terry.
Yes. Oh no, wait. Before we do,
you want to do that first?
Yeah, can we do that first? I'm sorry, Terry. We're the absolute worst. Can we show you the Dragonfly before we let you talk?
And Terry, you're muted, by the way, buddy.
Just so you know. Look enthusiastic and sympathetic.
Absolutely. Please do.
Okay. All right.
Let's slide it on over.
I have all of this detritus that I've set up on the table between the actual Dragonfly and us. So to caveat, this is our beautiful early painted Dragonfly model. This has been in the photo studio, so it is currently covered with some sand from its photo shoot. But we will have official diorama pictures of this that will be coming soon. Here is our... Almost knocked over my drink, really nailing it.
Actually, I don't know if we could have... So you can see inside, you see the Gatling guns inside. Then you can see their clear caps for the, they're not working lights. We went over that in that one.
Yep.
So they're not working lights, but they're like kind of clear, the safety lights on either side of the wings.
So to clarify, the troop builder that is in the front is a sneak peek at our steel core troop builder pack that will be coming soon. So he's been hanging out with Bill.
And his paint came out really good.
Yeah.
And
lovely.
Bill in the back, piloting the thing, got his steel core figure, gunning. So pretty sweet.
That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
Do you want to keep that up and we can move this so that,
I'm letting a marketer handle a model.
I know, right?
That's trust.
We have this thing at Hasbro that we lovingly refer to as marketing hands, and it generally means that as soon as a marketer picks something up, it's going to break. So I feel very honored for this moment because
you're a careful person.
Expensivo.
You're careful.
Yeah.
Not with your words.
No, not with my words sometimes, but definitely with my models.
It doesn't have all the parts and pieces on it, but I remember I had got a question somewhere. It has pins on the skiffs, so you can put figures on there as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm trying to see what else we can kind of show that people haven't seen.
That's turns.
Turns really well, actually.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's still a resin model. It'll probably be better when it's plastic.
Yep.
But we don't want to mess around with it too much because it still has to make its way to other events. So we just want to show you guys kind of a closer image of it.
And then so official diorama images will be coming soon as we get them back from editing, which we think that you are really going to like. Matt just absolutely slayed it with this. He's been basically doing nothing but G.I. Joe photography for like a month and a half. So he's so tired of us.
He sent an image that I thought he broke it and I almost lost my mind, but he did it very delicately like a gentleman and it's fine.
So now that we have gone through all of that, before we have let Terry and I apologize because I can't say your name. Was it a Jeremy?
Yeah.
Nailed it. All right. Fabulous. Okay. So Terry, would you like to introduce yourself and ask us the question you've been very patiently waiting to ask?
Hi, I'm Terry Desard, and I've been involved in the G.I. Joe community for, over 25 years now. And wow, this has been an amazing ride over the last 2 years. Seeing the classified line grow
Thank you.
I'll admit I was a skeptic. Yeah, whenever there's a scale change, it's iffy. What I'd like to ask is, I'm also a military historian, and the idea of the dragonfly using a no-tar tail design and how it's been pulled off on this. There's like a little bit of the early 1970s Super or Cobra, and then the later Marine Corps Super Cobras, like the Whiskey or Zulu Cobras. Like, what parts did you bring into that? I mean, there's so many different. You can't put all the pieces on it all at once, obviously.
Yeah.
And so, what elements came from kind of where when you were putting that together?
So on Classified, the idea is to start from the Real American Hero toys as a base. So we were trying to kind of get the vibe of the original Dragonfly, as you can see with the gait, how it sits, the angle of which its aggression is at, and even in the back, the tailpipe and the exhaust. Mark was really diving into what a real Cobra has on it, and he wanted to kind of blend the mix between toy and real to make it iconic to it, because yes, we are doing military-esque vehicles, military-inspired vehicles, but it needs to be the Dragonfly, as if G.I. Joe had made it and issued it. So it's kind of a combination. And he wanted to keep some details, as in, like, you can kind of adjust the tail fins to be more like the old school one where they're off center, or make it more realistic when it's like more of a V. So it's kind of, I would say, a Hasbro design, essentially, to kind of make it more unique and ownable. You even notice that with the back exhaust thrusters, we took some thinking from the original vehicle, which I believe are more round, if I'm remembering my toy at home.
Yeah, they're 4 round ones.
They're more round, and then what Mark wanted to do is make it a little more modern, because a lot of more modern jets and exhausts are more rectangular. So it's kind of a blend of Mark's design, essentially. So we netted out from doing research and looking at the original toy, and then having a little bit of creative liberty to make something that's ownable to G.I. Joe Classified.
It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
I
will let Mark know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see this sitting on a Marine Corps ship any day. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the idea with the line, right? We're trying to do like production design. Like, if we were to make the action figure movie, what would we do? And that's what we're trying to do.
Well, thanks, Terry. All right, Jeremy, would you like to introduce yourself after being so very patient and ask whatever you'd like your first question to be?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm Jeremy Conrad from Bleeding Cool, and congratulations on the Dragonfly, of course.
Thank you.
I would like to ask about just Yojoe June in general. There's been like more pre-orders and HasLabs and everything announced in like probably the last 3 weeks than there has been in maybe the last like 2 months. After it was pretty quiet for a little while, I think. And are you a little worried that maybe it's a little overwhelming for some people, or is that just not bearing out the numbers at all?
Not to sound like really overconfident, that's not really bearing out the numbers at all. So kind of purposefully, the way that we structure Yojoe June is in order to make sure that we have enough to kind of fill out the month. We kind of paused pre-orders on G.I. Joe a little while beforehand and just kind of crammed them all into June. I think the really nice thing is that not everything that we're pre-ordering in June is going to hit your bank account at the same time, because most of these figures are slated, either they're one-offs for exclusives. There was only one full wave that is going to ship at relatively the same time. And so I think that it can be a little bit overwhelming just to like look at the sheer numbers of it, but in like it's not going to be like 12 figures that all hit your bank account on the same day, which I think is nice.
I agree.
Yeah, and just as a reminder for people that are still thinking about backing the Dragonfly, and know that everybody here knows how it works, but that funds aren't collected for the Dragonfly until the end of the campaign. So even if you back today, those funds will not be collected until the campaign ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on July 17th, which my bank account is thrilled because I ordered 5 of them. So
everybody in the family's getting one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's his
on my dime.
Yep. Sky Strikers, his tanks, Dragonflies, 5 of each.
Yeah.
I've got the.
We were telling the last group. I told my mom centerpiece for Christmas is his tank.
Yeah.
Her his tank.
Her his tank.
Yes.
Can you like go to the craft store and get some like fairy lights and tiny little ornaments and actually like string them around the tank? Oh, I'm so excited. Actually, I'm gonna do that with mine too. That's a great idea.
You should.
I have basically, this is a little bit overshare, but in my creepy attic, that has an old wedding dress hanging from the rafters that I found in a hidden crawl space in this attic that I bought this house, and basically the wind blew down a panel I didn't know existed, and there was a wedding dress inside with a rocking chair that was knocked over. Anyway, I know it just keeps getting worse, right? But right next to the wedding dress and the rocking chair that are, of course, displayed in the middle of my attic to appease the attic ghost, is my pile of HasLabs.
I didn't know I didn't know it was revealed in the wind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
Scary.
the wind in a storm knocked the panel off, and that's where the sideways rocking chair and the wedding dress were. Yeah. My house is totally haunted, but I'm pretty sure she's benevolent, so it's fine. But I'm not taking any chances.
I would say this: let the wind blow to Chris's next question.
Oh, that was a good segue.
You like that?
Yeah, that was really
radio with Emily and Lenny.
That was like a segue worthy of the Full Force podcast. That was sensational. No, that's great. I've got so many questions, and it is just I don't even know which one to choose right now. Okay.
Is it about the wedding dress?
So the wedding dress, right?
Mm-hmm.
When are we seeing that in classified? No, that doesn't make any sense. Yojoe June has been an incredible month, as it always is nowadays. Is this new format of weekly pre-orders in a HasLab something we can expect every June from now on, or are you always trying to one up yourself? And I know it kind of carries over from the last question, but are you guys going to be literally doing the same thing again, or are you going to be giving even more?
In January.
I feel like it's so hard to say because we kind of always want to one up ourselves, and we're always trying to figure out, what is the next thing that we can really do to add that surprise and delight factor for fans. And I feel like that's something that, because we are an owned and operated brand, we're not necessarily based on current entertainment, we get a lot of leeway to we can share. We are a test and learn brand. We can try wacky new things and see how it goes. So I feel like this as a new format has been really fun to test. These are the kinds of videos that we've been doing, that the Star Wars team has been doing for a little while, but we've never tried them on G.I. Joe before. And so I think that's been fun, but wanting to figure out okay, so what is the next version of surprising and delighting fans that we can do? Other than that, remember that 40th anniversary 2-hour live show that we did? That when we were in this, did you block that out of your memory? It was the one in the big sound stage that we went on for 2 hours. And you just talked for 2 hours.
Tony and I busted chops.
I was waiting with my co-host Pat for that stream to finish so we could go live. And it was like, how are we still watching this stream? This is insane.
G.I. Joe and busting chops.
We had such I think we had done maybe one rehearsal run through of that. And I don't actually remember how long the rehearsal ran.
No, the rehearsals are now just Lenny, Tony, tell us about the toy. That's literally what the note is on the script.
We don't do rehearsals anymore. I'm extra mean. I don't even write notes down for G.I. Joe anymore. I just have I have a run of show in our head. I think it is.
But I think long story short, we're gonna look for new ways to surprise and delight.
Yeah.
Because it's a owner operated brand. We're not
a little weird.
Yeah, it belongs to Hasbro, so we can explore different avenues that maybe other partners would not want us to do, but we can look into.
Less tried and true. We can take more risks, and it's okay if things kind of.
It's less,
Yeah. You know where we're going with this, right?
I know what you're saying. By the way, those updates were so much fun. The HasLab updates that you guys were putting up every kind of week or so. They were great. More of those, please. Just in general. Just do that every couple of days. That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. So we have a lot of Matts and Marks that work on our team. And so the HasLab updates were the pre-campaign updates, and actually most of the updates now. Anything that's written in character voice is the genius work of our brand writer, Mark. He does such a phenomenal job. And then all of the graphics were done by our branding human, Jonathan. And it's been so much fun to see those come together. The marketing brief for those was, I was like, so I just want to do a couple of updates to tease out the HasLab. And they're like, okay, so here's the idea. Here's the whole backstory. This is kind of the reason for being for it from this perspective. We want to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, Cool. This sounds great.
Yeah,
Run with
we have
it.
a lot of teammates that are very creative,
Very
and I think
passionate.
on G.I. Joe
Yeah.
too can display that, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And I think we have a lot of brains thinking of how we could do other creative things of displaying and showing what's down the pipeline or what's coming up for pre-order.
Yeah. And I think it's so much fun because I like to say that we are all at Hasbro, we are all nerds. And we're all kind of nerds, but we're all nerds about like different things in complementary ways. And so it's nice because we're not all nerdy about exactly the same thing. So we don't just like talk in a death spiral about it. But but it all kind of complements, and the things that we get excited about, they provide jumping off points for other people to get excited about things and figure out how they can contribute. And so I think it's you never know where something's going to lead here, and I think that's beautiful.
Life is to be creative, which is really it's what I love about the brand so much. Wow,
that was a really good ramble from us.
Terry.
Get it out.
Hey, Terry.
Yeah, we'll try to be quicker because I know the time starts chewing up.
So you mentioned you did a reveal earlier in the previous one. That was the steel something.
So the name only reveal for the earlier session was Airborne, coming as a mainline release instead of because we know people have been really excited. They're hoping that he's the last HasLab tier, so we just wanted to let everybody know that he is actually coming in mainline.
And you'll get him way before the HasLab.
Yep. And then we accidentally forgot that there was a Steel Core Trooper in the helicopter. So that was also, you've seen render reveals of those, but not actual figures.
Now you've seen his production paint job.
So now you've seen. Yeah, no, it's great.
That's fantastic.
We're doing great. I'm sorry, please continue.
I was just saying, looking at Glenda, there's so many parts that are jumping out at me that I can see where it's going to go all over the line. And that flash backpack and laser rifle, especially, those are some very antiquated designs for those original figures. And for example, Glenda here is a complete, original Scarlet, top to bottom, as far as the clothing, the outfit, the gloves, and so on, with some minor updates. Is that something you would do with like an 82, 83 era figure, or do you try to stay a little more faithful to the original design?
So while we can't comment on upcoming figures that have not been announced yet, using your context clues, I think one of the things that we love is dropping Easter eggs and seeing how fans choose to interpret them, and us not having to say anything about it.
I'm very excited about the Glenda figure.
Yes, but we are very, very excited about the Glenda figure, and we think that she has great potential and delightful ramifications for the future of Classified series. How's that for an answer?
Fantastic.
Chris knows my marketing
Thank
circle.
God for the marketing.
Yeah. I always, and you can see, so sometimes when we're in calls, I know what Lenny wants to say for something, and I jump in before he can start talking.
I was hoping you were going to jump in for that one. Yep. Please jump in. For this one.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I've learned.
Next question.
We're a good compliment for each other. Thank you, Terry. All right, Jeremy, thoughts and feelings. This one is just off the rails. I love it.
Yeah. I will continue to be the one to not ask about the HasLab, because something else interesting in G.I. Joe land just happened, and they announced a new comic series from Robert Kirkman's Skybound, along with Transformers and this new Energon universe thing. And I was wondering what your guys' thoughts about it is, and do you think that there's an avenue to work with them closely to get more things like the Megatron Hiss tank and things like that done, along with the Transformers team going forward?
That is such a solid question. So just so that everybody knows, there are many different teams working on the gloriousness of G.I. Joe at this company.
Glorious.
And we are, it's a very Cobra Commander thing to say.
G.I. Cobra. Sorry.
Thank you.
Please.
So we are not on the team that is directly kind of working with our publishing partners, so we can't actually comment on that because we don't want to misspeak for them at all. But I think that I can speak for both Lenny and myself
Very
when
excited.
we say that we're very excited and that we're really, really excited to kind of see what those comics look like and what they mean for the future of the brand.
And there's precedent for Hasbro working with publishers.
Yeah.
Like and with product. So I could see potential of not saying an actual product that we would do, but like there's potential to partner with them to make some really cool combinations and releases and stuff like that. So it's exciting to see.
Yeah. All right. How was that for an answer?
It's a little disappointing to hear you guys aren't working on it. You guys rock.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Our publishing team is phenomenal. Michael Kelly is leading up our publishing team.
He's been doing Joe for a very long time.
Oh yeah,
too. He knows the brand very well.
He is an absolute delight. And he is very, very passionate about G.I. Joe. He knows everything.
Yes.
And he also has a like 4-foot tall Megazord cutout outside of his office from all of the Boom Studios Power
Michael knows what's
Rangers
up. He knows what's up.
He actually, so we just did an internal fundraiser for Hasbro Children's Hospital that we call Raffle Rumble. And I actually won one of the Power Rangers comic sets from publishing. So I too now get one of those 4-foot Megazords that holds comic books.
Oh, that's sick.
So I really need an occasion to display it behind me on something to, as a little flex.
The next roundtable.
I think so. Just for G.I. Joe, though, just have the Megazord behind us.
G.I. Joe comic books in it.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Can we we could put like one of those Cobra baseball caps on him?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. We've got this all nailed.
What's your next question?
I'm so sorry. You're getting like tangential, Lenny and Emily.
I'm gonna be like, what's the next question?
Yeah. Is it back to me again?
I think
it is.
I think so.
Okay.
There's only three today.
Okay. I will say this. I know you can't talk about future stuff, but you might be able to confirm some things. So I absolutely love the fact that you are hinting at other releases and promotional product imagery and on the box art as well. So Tunnel Rat's promo shots hinted at some cool stuff, and it appears as though there are some Cobra Troopers in the background of Lowlight's artwork. Can you confirm whether these are new figures in the pipeline? And in Lowlight's case, are those troopers the Valkyries or something new?
If I remember correctly, so a lot of those, that's not figure sculptures on those. That is created by the artists that are doing those packaging art. Right. The Lowlight, I think they're Valkyries, if I remember correctly. Okay. They are Valkyries.
Okay. That being said, anything that is in the diorama photography that are not on packaging renders, those are actual figures.
Yeah. So there's no extra CG on a diorama shot.
Yep.
But the CG is added to the packaging art for Mood.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So it's world building, it's storytelling, it's Easter eggs, it's extra context, and where is this character that you're familiar with, like hanging out in the comics or the shows.
And it shows the passion of the packaging team, graphics team. Like they go all in.
Absolutely slaying it. Julian and Stacey are doing such a good job with that. Our team is we would have nothing without our team, and we are so lucky.
It takes a village.
Yeah, it really does.
It takes a village.
We're raising a family, a little family
G.I.
of
Joe.
G.I. Joe plastic humans. I'm so sorry.
It's nice that you guys got drunk before doing this.
I like how when I laugh, my Jersey accent comes out.
It's nice.
Plastic humans.
Yeah. You did.
Sorry, it was very funny.
Was it this one that you did the impression of your dad, or the last one?
The last one.
That was good too.
My dad gave me a
night raven.
A night raven.
Yeah.
And he was like, Patty. My mom's name is Pat. Give the boys the night raven. Give the G.I. Joe jet. And my face melted. It was Christmas. I think I was 5 or 6 years old when we got it, and it was just like he gave us an early Christmas present, and it was just like good times. Good times. Anyways, Terry, what's your question?
Yeah, Terry. I feel like it just always goes right downhill right before we get to Terry.
And I try to.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing really good.
If we can take a step back to the His Tank HasLab just for a moment. The His Tank has been a sci-fi looking vehicle. It's never really existed, in any form. Maybe the Hiss 2 that could be in reality, but.
Are you implying that the septic hiss isn't grounded in reality, Terry?
Who knows these days? But it looks like it's an infantry fighting vehicle at this point, and that is awesome. And you'd mentioned there'll be a troop pack. coming along with this. And so are we looking at just regular vehicle crew? And I don't want to get anything too specific, but I like to put accessories on my figures, and I like to keep them on there. Is that something that would be very doable on that, both on the Dragonfly, on the skids anyway, and on the Hiss?
Yeah, so the Hiss has a platform that on the back of the where the troops can go inside. There's a platform that can stand, and there's rails so they can hold on. So, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think it can hold. There's a jump seat for one figure, and then 2 other figures you can cram inside, so you can fit 3 figures in there. And the Hiss fire team, the 788 fire team is a team of 3, so you can probably get the 3 of them in the back, and or somebody hanging on to the back of there. Which we were thinking the same thing. We wanted to do something where it gave you a fully encompassed story, and their colorway is going to match the Hiss tank, which is really cool. We even pulled some of the so Mark and the HasLab team had done those really cool graphic design work of like more militaristic looking patches that could be on the Hiss tank that never made it on there. We pulled some of those and we put them onto the troopers, which looks pretty rad. And there are 3 troopers of 3 different jobs, essentially. So again, G.I. Joe's all about archetypes, like trophy archetypes, and how cool can we make them.
Right.
And each character has a different job when it comes to fending off a dragonfly.
You're just doing a really good. I'm so proud of you.
Did I do a good job being cagey?
You were so politely cagey, and you were like, "Here's all of the information I can give you up until the point where Emily's gonna be like." But I think that there is the other thing that I'll comment on with the fire team pack is that this will be your only opportunity to get these 3 figures as troop builders.
Yeah.
So we are cognizant of that, and we want to make sure that that's one of the reasons why we wanted to make sure that it was available to as many people as possible and not have it locked behind and not have it necessarily locked but just to the people who purchased a Hiss tank. These are amazing troop builders that you can use with a Hiss or without a Hiss, just depending on what your collection has.
And did you say it was a Pulse exclusive?
It is going to be a Pulse exclusive. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's great. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Terry. All right, Jeremy, you're up.
I'm pretty excited that in about 3 weeks, San Diego Comic-Con is coming. Are you guys going to be there?
Yes, we will, with bells on, not literally, metaphorically. But we'll be very excited to be there.
Ring doorbells.
Yeah, I hope we get to see it in person. Can you tease us maybe with some stuff we might see, or what, if any, of the kind of exclusive there might be? I'm not asking for a reveal, but maybe a tease.
So we will have our, spoiler alert, our San Diego Comic-Con exclusive item for the year will be there. I know, how's that for an answer? We will be revealing a couple more figures. We'll have one item that is a Pulse exclusive.
Okay, you know what this is.
Yep, we'll have one item that is kind of a, I believe it's a, I want to say Fanmazon maybe. It's a one item that's a wider release item. We'll have, what we will have is anybody who is at the event will be able to see a production Hiss tank for the very first time. So we'll have an actual Hiss tank that's there. Nice. We will have anything that has been released for anything that's been pre-ordered for Yojoe June. We'll have figure samples there so that you can see them in person, which we're really excited about. We'll have our Dragonfly model there so that you can see it in person. Just note that San Diego Comic-Con will be, the campaign finishes on Monday the 17th. SDCC starts on the 19th, so it will not be available for funding there, but we wanted to make sure we were showing it off. And one of the new G.I. Joe swag pins that you'll be able to get this year, because you know I love good swag, features the Dragonfly.
Cool.
Swag. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Are you guys doing a panel?
Yeah.
Are you guys doing a panel like last year as well?
We will be doing a panel. So we will be doing a panel this year. It will mostly follow the same kind of structure as last year. So we'll do name only reveals, we'll do some render reveals, and then we'll have a couple of pre-orders that launch as well.
Cool.
And then this year, I believe there might actually be 4 of us on the panel this year. If everybody, if nobody's travels are interrupted.
We have 2 very special guests.
We do. We have 2 very special guests. So I think that'll be really fun.
It's a lot.
Yeah. We're doing a lot of more to kind of come on what the Hasbro SDCC execution is this year, but it's a lot. They let me help plan the event this year, which is crazy. So I was like, how many things can we do on the stage and how much product can we give away? So I am thrilled.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Just give people what they want for toys and swag.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah. Plastic. Fabulous. All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Cool. Okay, Chris, back to you.
Yeah. I have another 12 questions. I'm just kidding. No. So what was I going to say? Tomorrow. Obviously, we're kind of expectant that something might be happening tomorrow in terms of the pre-order scenario, based on patterns, of course. What are we likely to see anything tomorrow at the similar time as last week and so on and so forth? I mean, is there anything you can kind of go into in terms of what we might expect tomorrow?
Gosh, you know what? We really can't comment on upcoming figures that will be released, but if I were you, I would sure tune in tomorrow at approximately the same time that we've trained you to tune in, or perhaps, I don't know, a video, or maybe pre-orders to be launching, maybe with a special guest. Maybe there will be something extra exciting that's happening tomorrow.
Something more not as typical.
Maybe something not as typical. So, I mean, if I were you, I'd probably tune in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Terry. Thoughts and feels? Questions?
It's just more of a general design question. I'm looking at the pre-order up here for Mr. Robert Grunt Graves, and fantastic modernization of that character. And but specifically, it's the accessories that seem to really make the big change on that. What are you using for patterns? Because there's a lot of real world, there's a lot of G.I. Joe lore, there's a lot of just hey, this is cool, let's see what it looks like if it's plugged in, onto the weapon. But specifically, what is that silver thing with the blue circle in it? That has been driving me crazy since Wave 1.
Oh, I think the fans deemed it the Joe Pro.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Beautiful.
I love that it's going with Joe Pro. So I'll answer that first. The idea in the beginning was to give G.I. Joe a little bit of sci-fi tick with real world grounding, so everything looks like it works. The idea of that was kind of like almost like a HUD that would pop up, or like a battle screen, so that they could project, like in a video game, essentially, to kind of see the battle skim, or to see the lay of the land, maybe like a projection of a map, or whatever their mission is, or something like that. And it can also work as like almost like a walkie-talkie too. I forget what game I was playing. I got inspired by like they had walkie-talkies in the back, and they would hit a button here and they would talk into it.
Oh, that's super smart.
It was kind of rad.
Yeah.
And I just thought it'd be cool if that not only was a walkie-talkie, but was like a HUD that could pop up that wasn't necessarily like some like power gauge on their eye, which looks kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
Wanted to keep it something that could be here and could be removed based on characters. Not everybody needs it. And it was something we were going to keep on every character, but we felt that as the line was growing, it gets redundant. So not everybody needs it. Like on Rock and Roll, we gave him a walkie-talkie instead, which looks pretty rad, especially with the old school gun that he has. It kind of works with it. So
all of his cool tattoos.
All of his tattoos.
Yeah.
So I kind of want some of them. When I was designing them, I was like, I kind of want this, like, because one of them's a lightning skull. It's pretty rad. But it's a Joe Pro.
Yeah.
The fans named it. And as for a design standpoint, with all the other parts and pieces on him, when I do research to design a new character, I start scraping from Google to see like what gear, like particular units in the military would use, and then I also look at how do we up the ante a little bit, and how can we change the material that's made out of. Like if it's Kevlar, what does a Kevlar pattern look like? I like to add a lot of stitching to kind of add that realism, because I like to make things look like, even though it's molded, look like it was constructed by somebody, a little 1/12 scale seamstress making the vest, right? So a lot of it is doing research and then looking at reference. And then I am very old school in my design approach, where I do a lot of turn drawings. So I do the turn drawings based on a lot of images I pull to kind of come up with something new but grounded in reality. And then actually, one of my friends is a Green Beret, and he was telling me about they have like this really cool HUD that it's almost like their phones are on the vest, and they could pop it down and they could see where all their teammates are at.
Cool.
It was like he was blowing my mind explaining how they have this. It's like a video game. They kind of look down to see where they're going, and I was just inspired by this thing. He showed me all of his gear too. It was cool. Like we had the kids were all playing, and it's like bouncy house, and he's got all his gear out, and he's showing me the headset and all that. So I was very inspired by him showing me all that. So I baked that into the device that's on his vest as well. So it's a little window into how we design stuff. It's a lot of scraping and doing research and dorking out, but then adding that twist of a little bit of fantasy that G.I. Joe's always had.
Yeah. And I think on that level of detail, so my mom is a quilter. She has been for her entire life. And when she looks at classified series figures, all she thinks about is how realistic all of the details are. The folds of the pants as they tuck into the boots, and that stitching and the textures and I mean, she's in her 70s, and she's blown away by how realistic the figures look. And I think that it's all of those little details that show how much love is put into this line. Like you don't have to do that. That's all stuff that you do because you love it and you care, and because you want it to look real.
And it's really awesome because, like, you know, in creating the patterns and what we want, or we call them pattern drawings or sculpt inputs, it's where my passion lies with design. But it's really amazing to see that when I work with a sculptor, of the passion they bring to bring that to life with their talent. Like it's incredible to see how much time and love goes in to realize this like pattern drawing. And it makes it, I'm excited every time we make a figure. Like it's like we put everything we have into every figure, and then to see the sculptors then take it to this completely other level with what people are going to get in hand. It's really cool. And to hear your mom loves the folds is like, I love that.
And I think that it
means we're doing it right.
It's love every step of the way. And it's one of the things that I think is so wonderful about working here is sometimes people will be like, so I have an intern right now. She's absolutely delightful. And when we're doing the intern hiring process, everybody's like, so what's a typical day look like for you? What will a typical day look like as an intern? I'm like, honestly, I can't really tell you because every day is different here. We do different things every single day, and no two figures that you work on are ever the same. And I think that is it's so cool, and it's such a testament to your skills and the love that you put into the line that it's sorry.
He's crying.
But
You're crying.
This is your baby, and
I love it. And our teammates,
wonderful.
A lot of our teammates do too. I won't say names because a lot of teammates don't want us to say their names.
They're like, please don't talk about it on the internet.
I gotta say, it is, as designers, like we're really doing it for the love of it, and to hear that people are enjoying it, and like this anecdote your mom's saying, it means a lot because a lot goes into every action figure and every action figure line. So the fact that people are enjoying those details is it's enriching for us. So we want to do even more of them. I would do 200 G.I. Joes a year if I could.
And I think
I thought you had.
We won't.
A year.
That's a lot. But I think that it's, our team we have lucked out on everybody who has come and rotated through our team, regardless of how long they were here, for how many months or days or years they have been on the G.I. Joe team. We are so lucky to be surrounded by this many incredibly talented human beings. And you find that within all of the teams at Hasbro, we are all so passionate about what we're doing and our contributions to the product. And without even one of those facets, the whole thing falls apart.
Yes.
And it's been, not knowing anything about how the toy industry worked before I joined this company, that has been one of the coolest things to me. I am constantly surrounded by incredibly smart human beings who think in ways my brain is incapable of working in. And it's so cool.
Thank you. That means it's I would say the way we think, maybe it's not good for reality, but
I think it's beautiful. And I will speak for Lenny here. We count ourselves so lucky to be part of not only this industry and products that we get to do, but to be part of G.I. Joe history. It's so humbling. I was in the archives the other day looking around and thinking, long after we are gone, whether from Hasbro or on this earth, the memory of G.I. Joe will stay, and we will basically stay, our memories will stay alive because of the products we were working on and our contribution. Oh, that's a sad Yojoe for this. I'm sorry, that got really weird and deep. But like,
we got deep.
But it's
True.
so how
Edit
how
what you need
often
to.
how often do you get to say that you're part of something that is a 60-year legacy
Yeah.
of something that is known around the world,
It's
and
crazy.
that you got to put your mark on for however long that is, this thing that's gonna live on forever.
It's
a
wild.
piece of Americana that's been around for over 50, 60 years. It's amazing.
So I'm very sorry that got weird and deep.
No.
But I thought that,
Thank you for that. It was very, very kind.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a weird tangent, but Jeremy, you got
It wasn't weird.
You got a
It was
question?
kind.
I don't even know how to follow that.
Can it please be just a really dumb question? Can it be, hey Emily, why is your favorite G.I. Joe character Ice Cream Soldier? Well, so that's because I like to be a contrarian sometimes, and I like to horrify people when they say, what is the one character you want in the line? And Lenny just looks so disappointed in me. It's either Ice Cream Soldier or I want the Ninja Force characters with rooted hair, but only if we do them with rooted hair. No rooted hair, no deal.
Rooted hair.
I agree with you on that one.
I'm sorry. Now you can actually ask what your question is. Now that I've reset the tone.
Even though you guys kind of went into that, into this before that, can you guys talk about the design on the Snow Serpent? Because I don't think I've seen a more incredible action figure in the line. I can't wait. I ordered like 8 of them.
Ooh, what a nice compliment for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's awesome, man.
You go into what the decision making process behind like the wolf layover on his head. I don't know what to call that. Skin.
Pelt.
Can you talk a little bit about designing the Snow Serpent?
He's toasty.
Well,
I did see. Can you clarify for the people on the internet who have asked me a lot of
it's
times?
not timber.
Is this timber? Okay, not timber.
Somebody reached out to me, and we can only answer questions so much, and it's because there's we got to be careful about how we answer stuff. We really do try to answer people where we can. Yeah. But it is. I was joking around and saying it's Timber's wolf pack. So now Timber hates snow serpents.
Okay.
Because he's a timber. So Timber is actually a timber wolf, which are the largest of wolves in North America. There's another species of wolves that are larger. I'm going into this because I went nuts on wolf research because I was afraid timber was too big. But timber wolves have been documented at 200 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
That's enormous.
Currently, this is a new thing.
Okay.
They're getting bigger.
Interesting.
But there's bigger wolves in, I think, the Baltics or something like that.
Cool.
It's like a bigger kind of it's not a timber wolf. I can't remember the name of it, but it's an epic looking animal. Timber's actually based on one of those. But currently it's 200. They're getting bigger. So I'm like, okay, I am accurate. So I was bugging out. Anyways, back to the snow serpents. I wanted to keep it very close to the old school because it's a very special character. Everybody loves snow serpents, right? I was afraid to overly design it, to change it from where it was, but I knew it needed things that made it more special from where it was. So we definitely need to keep all the fur on the shoulders and all that, and the collar, which we ended up gluing down, but you can take off the collar if you put a little elbow grease in there. But essentially, we tried to keep it pretty close to the original design with some cues from Pursuit of Cobra. We kept the parachute on the front because, if you're snowboarding too fast, you might have to go off the mountain and take a ride. I'm just joking. But for
that would be a very cool diorama picture, though.
That should be in a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta go, bro. Anyways, but for the wolves, I was thinking that the unit gets lost in the Arctic or some sort of tundra or mountain, and they kind of go feral and get attacked by a pack of wolves. And I added the wolf in there to denote the leader, kind of like what we did to Cobra Troopers, where we added the patch, so you could take the patch off. Which, basically on Troop Builders, I want to give people options of things to put on them, so that you can kind of make a unit just from buying buying the couple figures of the pack. You'll have options in there to mix and match and play. That's why they come with so many weapons too. So it's one can be the bazooka guy, one could be the rifleman, one could be the SMG guy. So, and then one could be on snowshoes, one could be on the snowboard. So the idea was to give options in there for play. And the idea with the wolf was kind of to give them an edge essentially, right? Like they survived a attack from a wolf pack, and now they are wearing the wolves that tried to take them out, and that's how, like, can I say badass?
Yeah,
That's
sure.
how badass they are. And then also you can use it as the leader. So if you did buy 8 of them, which thank you very much, very much appreciate that, you can have your squad leader in the front wearing a wolf pelt.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the thinking.
They look incredible in real life too. Like,
They
as
are
cool as you think they look on the internet, wait until you have one in your hands and you get to actually like play with all of the accessories and see how. I'm constantly struck whenever I get, because now that I'm not necessarily on the product development side of marketing, I don't get to see samples as early as I used to. So when I pick them up, they're all almost production, and I look at them and it's like, these are so like,
Thank you.
these are so cool. And people are just they're just all so happy when they get them. And it's so nice.
The shots too.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt
just
brings it every time. Like the whatever that snowboard move is that he's doing when he's got his 2 pistols out. It's so good.
The memes that have arisen from that have been gorgeous. And I think that Matt is like secretly very, very pleased with
that's
them.
the shot.
Yeah, oh yeah, there it is. Yep.
On your phone, that's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, Matt will be deeply pleased by that. Thank you.
So, thank you again. And hopefully that was a good enough answer to explain some of my bizarre thinking.
And I think we have enough time for one more lightning round of questions if anybody would like to lightning round.
Yeah. So I was clearing my throat to just say a question. What have been your highlights from Yojoe June so far, guys? Your personal, individual highlights?
No serpent.
Including tomorrow.
Yeah.
How dare you?
That's so sneaky.
Snow Serpent. It offers a lot in a box, and it's a new price point, and I think it's well received. We're always nervous with new price points, and I think we can do a lot there.
Yep.
So we just got to make sure that we give you guys a lot. That's where my heart's at when it comes to that.
Mine was Dragonfly launch. We have been working on it for so long, and it was so exciting. And so the day that the Dragonfly launched was the night of the Transformers movie premiere in Brooklyn. So we launched, then I went down to New York for the night, and all night, all we were doing when we weren't, schmoozing and enjoying the Transformers movie was constantly refreshing the feed to see how long it took. And as soon as I got home the next day, my parents were in town visiting. They picked me up from the train station. It funded 20 minutes later. I put an Instagram post up about it, and then I took like an 8-hour nap. It was amazing.
You went into an Odin slump.
Yeah. But it was just so, there's something weird that happens with HasLab campaigns, and it doesn't necessarily matter how confident you are in the product and how excited everybody is in the building to see it. You are petrified for it to go live.
Yes.
And it is absolutely terrifying to have. There's something different between how pre-orders and how HasLab's going live psychologically make us feel. Pre-orders are going to happen no matter whether everybody's really excited about them or not. But there's this kind of a little bit irrational moment of panic of, what if we were wrong and everybody hates this? And
it's true.
And they hate us now. And so it's not really a thing, but like irrationally, that is the fear that we're filled with. And so to be greeted, and usually like in the first 2 minutes of the stream, those comments start pouring in and you're like, oh, we're fine. This is okay.
Yeah.
And when we're recording, sometimes we'll get like a little thumbs up that's like, it's okay. But that it was so gratifying and so wonderful. And so much hard work goes into all of the HasLab campaigns, regardless of what team is working on them or what stage of funding ultimately that they got to. And it's just so much love has gone. Speaking of all the love that goes into the lines, there is so much love that goes into these HasLabs, and we're just so lucky to be part of that Hasbro legacy, which is nice. Yeah, that was long, but did that work okay for you?
Perfect.
Great. Perfect.
Terry.
All right, Terry.
So you've gone to plastic-free packaging, which is kind of new for action figures, but well-tread for vehicles. The one thing that's kind of sad is the artwork of the characters is now so small on the package. And I go and I look back at specifically Spirit Iron Knife, who a very good friend of mine, Jeffrey Verge, did the artwork of. And
he did such a good job on that too. It is absolutely gorgeous.
It is. And so it's kind of sad to see, a portrait. Kind of reminds me of a file card, where you would have just the upper body shot. Who does those art assets, and are they planned for other marketing materials down the line, or do they just kind of go into your character Bible and that's where it sits? Because
it's a great question. The artwork is beautiful. I need to double check with our packaging team because I know that they've had somebody that was doing them. I need to double check to make sure I'm getting the artist's name right.
Forget I don't forget it. They moved to a larger group that's been doing for 2023 line. It's a larger group that's doing the art. I know that Oliver Barrett has done a lot of the artwork too. He's a phenomenal artist.
Yeah. And oh no, sorry, go ahead.
The graphics, the CG on the front is the larger group, and then you'll notice that inside there's the insert sleeve with the figure on there. I think that's, hopefully I'm not misquoting who it is. I believe it's Oliver Barrett. So they work with multiple people and they're doing, there's a lot of hands at play when creating packaging art and graphics. And I think what they're trying to do is create assets that can be used in multiple places.
Yeah. And I think the way that I kind of interpreted the packaging change, and we'll kind of see how that comes into play as we transition back into plastic packaging in spring of 2024, but it was moving away from the larger pieces of artwork and pushing forward the storytelling using the digital renders. We really wanted to make sure, especially kind of in our plastic-free era, that people had a good understanding of what was in these packages. We got some feedback from fans that it was, if you're not familiar with the line, it can be a little bit confusing to look at the front of a box and go, well, what is this? Yeah. And so we really wanted to make that as abundantly clear as we could to make sure that this is a line that is open and inclusive, and we wanted that anybody could quickly understand what was going to be in these packages and understand that what you are getting is a really cool figure that you can do really amazing things with when you get home.
Absolutely love the new packaging, or the current packaging is phenomenal. It's so cool to have all those different things going on. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Great. Was that a good answer, Terry? An acceptable answer?
Perfect answer. Perfect.
Thank you. All right, Jeremy, you're up.
All right, so it's my birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you. Sorry. Carry on.
So this may be a stretch to ask for, but it would make my birthday if you could give us even the tiniest of tease of what figure might be box number 100.
Oh, so funny story. I forgot to announce that. So it occurred to me. So you know how like sometimes you have just like straight up the best of intentions, and then like you get a little sidetracked, and then you realize like a little too late that maybe you forgot to say something. So figure number 100 is the Ron Rudat special edition figure in the His Tank box.
Tactician, nice.
Yeah, so perfect. The Tactician will be figure number 100. So the numbered figures in that set are 99, 100, and 101. I really, really apologize for not saying that a year ago while the campaign was funded.
How about you did?
No, I didn't. I forgot.
You know, it's funny. We're so
confident in remembering,
and we're also in it from a production standpoint that we're like. We were like making a big deal in the office, talking about these are big deals, 100, 100, whatever. And I think maybe that's why we thought we announced it.
Oh, yeah. No, we were like real confident that we'd said something. And somebody the other day was like, what's figure 100? And I'm like, whoops. So 99, 100, 101 are going to be within the His Tank box.
Because it's Ron's artwork, which is incredible.
Yep.
Right.
And so it felt right, which was really nice. So yes, we are very excited. Awesome. Great news. Happy birthday. We have fulfilled your wish. Nailed it.
We did.
Should we do another round of lightning? Do we have enough time?
Guys, just one last thing. It is my birthday. Could you
How dare you?
Could you tell us the entire line plan from now till 2027?
Full force, and then we close the laptop.
So the next figure is an ice cream soldier, and then every figure after that for the next it's 50 variants of ice cream soldiers. They're all ice cream soldiers, and then
different ice cream flavors.
Some of them will have rooted hair. Why? God knows.
But it's Boomerang, Ice Cream Soldier, and Headman.
Perfect. From now until eternity.
Yeah. Amazing. All different color variants of them.
Does anybody have any like last minute thing that they really want to ask? Terry's thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the dragonfly, and it's just so
pretty.
It's amazing work, and knowing that the tail has movement to it, and just all the little details. I really feel like you're getting your money's worth out of this thing, for sure.
Oh, so nice.
Actually,
well, that actually is a question. When putting together these HasLab projects, how do you decide how big it should be? What price point you want to hit? There's, the Sky Striker was really, a great test run that ended up giving everybody half a dozen figures and an officially licensed, it looks like, F-14 Tomcat.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that so for us, affordability is always kind of top of mind for G.I. Joe products. And so we our train of thought is always that we want to give you the lowest price point that we possibly can to deliver a quality version of the product that we are aiming to give you. Yeah. And we want to make sure that it is loaded out with accessories and world building fun so that when you get it, it is basically an adventure in a box. And so it's kind of a balance of those two things. Like the original version of the His Tank that we did probably would have cost $500. It came with so much stuff. And ultimately, based on kind of the amount of tooling that we're given for projects, that helps to kind of dictate the scale that we can really approach. But that for us, we want to make sure that it's as affordable as we can to accomplish our dreams and make sure that it is going to be products that you get in your hands and you go, this is a toy dream. Like, this is amazing.
Trying to make it as worthwhile as possible.
Yeah.
Really. And how can we really realize what the vision was of that particular vehicle? Or if we're making something new, how can we really make it feel like we put it all into it?
Yeah. So. Decent answer?
Absolutely.
Excellent. That seemed like a pretty good one to end on.
Guys, thank you so much. As always, this is phenomenal.
Thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Hope that you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Those of you who are not having birthdays today.
Happy birthday again.
Yeah. Oh no, he already left. He ditched us already. Yeah, no, he's done.
It was Chris singing happy birthday.
Yeah, he bounced immediately. I'm not
I would have. If somebody was saying happy birthday to me, I get bashful with that stuff.
I'm kidding.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/The Full Force, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.